Oh, I need some light. Where is it? Okay, with my last video, I have noticed that I have some outages in the video streaming, and I wonder why my streaming quality is going down. I have a 400 Mbit internet line, probably 30 Mbit upstream. I'm not sure, but in the last videos I had much less issues. So now I try to use a setting for streaming in 1080 per 30 per 30 images per second, to see if this is better, because otherwise I need to record my live streamings and upload them later, which makes the complete project or the process of doing live streaming likely shit. Okay, doing little bragging about software development again to fill up the video. Don't need this key anytime. And what can I show? Nothing much, because I'm still in the development. Therefore, I think I do show the template that I have used in the previous video. I think this gets published later on. Because of some settings, and then having some schedules. The template, where it is. Great missing. Here. This was the main template I have used to generate 16-bit Pascal code. Okay, Notepad has many files open. It is a little bit late with streaming. The cache of the streaming is about 50%. So it is obvious that it was going into problems with the higher resolution. And my upload speed is really low, or the internet, YouTube is somehow today having some problems. Okay. What I am doing here with my code generator. In general speaking, I have created an application out of a model. And if I show for short the model, when it works, I try to open it. Is it this one? Probably yes. Here you see some forms that are used to generate some menu entries in the application. For the sake, I go through each form and read some properties for it. Then I create these elements within some files I define. And these files are included within these templates, which are placed in some additional XSLT file. And therefore, this is a little bit code only, XSLT code here, to help structurize your code generation process or your project. And this variable is somehow, I think it is useless here, because this is not the same as this one. Application ID here is somehow okay, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why I have this part below here, but I think this is not so important. The main templates that I have used for generating the source code are here, and I have told something about hard-coded menu entries. The main menu is usually something that is not extended by some elements that open a form. The main menu is some kind of static typical menu entries where you place or find in the file menu. Therefore, this is a hard-coded part which is placed into the generation snippet for the resource file that I am using, and it is called by the template create application resource. The interesting part is something later here with the for each loop, which is going into each formula I have modeled here, like this one, or formulare, forms in English. It is going through each of these UML models and producing some kind of code. And in this case, the code is some menu item definition, where I extract the menu name by simply using the formula name, the name of the form. And in addition, I create a command for opening the form in the same manner I have defined these commands in a different file with a similar structure of using XSLT and using the formula name to produce the command name. And to note a little bit about where I make a line break and where I don't make a line break. Here maybe I could add some, remove some line break in this kind here. I could remove this part to reduce the first line in the generated code you probably have seen. When I go down, you see some kind of, for each form in my UML model, which has formula, are forms, and each form forms have some form. formula in German. Okay, it is the German model. I need to think about making this into an English, but this will be much more work. I think I will not do in an easy manner, and I create a formula name out of the temp formula name, which is the name. The name of the formula may be having some spaces, and I need to remove the spaces and some special characters like whatever you put into your model. And with this information, I create a dialog, a resource definition with some, the first step with some fixed layout, with some fixed size, and with some other typical style settings and a caption. I simply again use the formula name, but in this kind also here probably I could use a caption with the original name, preserving the spaces in some kind to see it in the form. And with the dialog element, you have several form elements, say some text fields or some labels or something else. I go through each formula element or some formula fields a formula has with the typical formula ID. This is a relational data model stored in an XML file the application produces, and therefore I have some scheme in how to access the formula fields for each form. Going through, I add the label with the name in a fixed point and with a calculation about I'm using the for each loop position method within XSLT to produce some progress in the numbering or the position of the label downwards. And I do the same with the text field, but with some different other numbers. Here I have two, each of the field is the same, and each of the label has the same extent as you have seen in the video. And afterwards I add some dummy buttons for demonstrate. I can add some fixed elements as well here. They will be extended in the progress of the code generation project. And then I have as well some template here. Okay, this was an example. I tried some to grab some code from the example application and put something together and look how it should look like. So therefore this is a little bit of garbage in the generated template resource file at all. So and then I go to, I have 10% of cache. It is going really down. It's not good. Yeah, therefore this is a test video and I am on a lower picture speed, 30 pictures only for the second. And yeah, it should be going up. It's going up a little bit now. Okay, I can proceed. And I go to the next file. I generate exactly what I have spoken about here with the menu definitions in this point here. I could mark this part when it works. Markieren. It didn't work. Okay. I go down. Here is the definition of the menu commands, and I use okay, it is marked. It has the same scheme because I have marked it. Why do I not see this? Regardless, I see it here. And this way I am able to create for each form as well the command which I am using later in the source code when I when I react on a menu button, a menu click. Okay, the cache for the video streaming is going up again. So it's somehow I am in a 30 family house here. Maybe they are all watching video or doing some streaming. I don't know why I have the problems. Okay, going further, the application is being created with a really simple. It is only this part, and it grabs the application name to produce some comment, grabs the name from the same element in the UML model, and it is using it everywhere in my class names and the function definition for the Pascal code. Later on, this is the Pascal unit part, application unit, and this is only this little code. And then I go to the next. I go to the application unit. This is the app unit code, which is containing the main window. This is hard-coded because somehow convenient name for the unit that contains the main application logic, say the main window. If this is getting too big to put all the forms into it, or to the menu logic or some special stuff, I need to divide the template and restructure it. So going to the next point, the main window is using the application name with some prefix t for the class name, typically on Pascal naming convention, and up as the application class itself, and it has only init main window function, which is later on created with a separate part of the template, and it has some kinds of stuff for the main window, producing some functions for 2 functions each per menu. I can reduce to 1. Okay, the cache is going up to 97%. So maybe this is a better performance. I see it as well beside monitoring it in YouTube. And so when I go to the main window generation, I'm again using the for each loop. I go through each formula, produce the formula name, reducing the unwanted spaces and special characters And here I repeat, probably I do it in a wrong way, okay. And I define the show formula name function, and that's it for this first part. And the second for each loop is doing the same. Logically, I could put both in one loop, doing it similar. And here I have figured out how I have to code the mechanics, how a user can click on a menu, and how Pascal in this old version is doing or implementing the routing between a menu click and the function call itself. And okay, I see it is done slightly different. It is simple, and yeah, okay, that's how it's done, and I am able to do it really simple. Here you see again the command that is reacting. The function is reacting on this command when this command is going into the software. When the user is clicking some of the menu, this function is called. So this is only the definition, and then later on I go to the implementation of the code. And here is the main window implementation. Here is some variable definition in the main window. Here you see how I was able to create some custom Hello World application title. Simply, that was the first step, creating the main application window. Later on, the dialogues and the menu elements came in, and I had to read some books from my package. I got a huge package of books. And it is long ago when I was working with Pascal, and even with Pascal for DOS and TurboVision, I have had no idea how to code such an application here. And this is as well some time I have had within these 3 days, creating this, so to say, prototype, some POC, some proof of concept, creating a Pascal code with good old Windows 3.1 development environment. And here the menu has been created. I hook up the menu with the resource. I have taken the same ID that is in the sample application. I need to take care that I don't overwrite or use the same IDs. But I think the resource compiler will complain about this. And then I have the show mechanics, and I have the command mechanics or the function itself. And that is, normally I could use the command function directly and put the logic how to open. I can now remove this and check this in, because I have played way too long with these snippets, and I can reduce it now. And I do not think that I change these pair of functions, because I have a menu element, and I may have different menu elements doing the same. And therefore I have the command, the domain function opening a custom form in this kind of show form name, and I probably have some functions that are linked to hotkeys. I have no idea how this is done in the Turbo Pascal or Borland Pascal 16-bit version at that time. How does the code look like? So I leave it actually in this kind of layout of the code or how I implement it. And therefore, this is the implementation for the next part of the application. When I go to the next point, I create some data dialog unit. And this is a new unit, data dialogs and data DLGS. Yeah, maybe the naming of 8-bit, 8 character good old DOS file names is some tricky here. Probably when I create several forms and I have to create them in different units, how do I split them? How do I name them? How do I produce a 8 character name out of some number of characters form names, but mitigate recreating one form with another form because the shortened name looks the same as a previously created form, while when I have a form per unit layout. So I think there is some need to look into it for the 8-bit, 8 character file names, how to do it. Maybe I use the form and form ID, the number itself, as some kind of anonymous unit. I can number much more or create much more units, and in the using of the units, I have seen there are some aliases used between unit name and file name. Probably they get it in this way. This is a little bit work to find out. And here I create my form, typical constructor, very simple, and for each form I do the same. And when I create some buttons for the form, the navigation buttons, I have to add them here, functions for. And I go to the next part. This is the closing part for this video now, is how I initialize the form. And I have played a little bit about how to do it, and in the first self wasn't convenient anymore in the kind of sample application I have derived from this code, because I have a main form and a separate form per data view some kind, and then I could not longer use self as the parent. So therefore I have to add a parent parameter, change the layout of the signature of the function, of the init function of the constructor for the form itself a little bit. And after this change, I was able to successfully open different forms, which is in turn some step further away from that simple one form sample application I have shown. And that's all. For a template, you need to learn how to access your XML model elements. You need to address them. You need to kind of the type, but probably is not necessary now to explain. And you need to probably create some replacement names by removing some unwanted characters. That's all. To derive your information for your code generator. And when you use such kind of statement, you replace this later on with the values that are contained in the formula name variable I have created here. And that's all that creates the source code. And you have probably seen that it has been created, the source code, really fast, because there are only some 4 files that have been created. The speed cache is going down again, and it's a bad internet quality now. And with this little effort, I was able to create a running application based on a sample application. This is the sample application, and this is only one form. Okay, I have reduced some layout kind stuff. I have reduced the buttons in the first step. I have created some menus for opening different forms, and I have created a main form. And when I go, okay, this isn't working because I need to open only one. I need to trick this development environment because I need to replace the files that configure the development environment, because I have some configuration CFG files which inform the tool what files to open, what is the main file, anything else. And if I switch between DOS or a protected mode DOS application, I was struggling a little bit about the technical limitations of these old development environments, and I managed it by copying the files, somehow preparing it, and then I can switch between. And after generating the source code, you have your generated application forms. And stupid for now. This is a little bit more detailed information. How do you get your model into source code? Did I have I don't know. Where is it? Here. Yeah. Error. And here you have your some other elements, actions, model, and the main stuff I have modeled. And the most important or interesting part of this is this application model. I have created an application out of it, but it is the application itself. Therefore, this application is capable of doing something more, because I can generate some code. This is a plugin. Anywhere in the code I have modeled to use here and add a button. This is of course not part. There's my mouse with my overlay screen. I don't see my mouse. With the generation or with the generated source code, this is of course not supported here, because I have not produced any code in Pascal for the sake of that I have started the complete project in C++. Way longer, way more in the future than I have programmed with TurboVision and even I didn't have this development tools, but now yeah, after my purchase I am able to port the software. So now you have seen some kind of producing source code in a model-driven manner. You have seen the UML model, that is the source code, the source of the truth of the application at all. And when you start modeling, and I have a UML, maybe I can use this one. You start with such a kind of model here, only with some classes, only with some properties, and some connections between each of the classes here. And in this most simple way of entry level modeling, you start creating a similar application that can be it will not work here, I think. I want to see it. If it crashes, it crashes. Then I have something to remove. Yeah, it crashes. And I am on drive C. User, wo ist es? Update checker. I simply remove one character from the dynamic library, and it should no longer crash because it's only this module which is crashing. And I want to see, can I open another application? I did not have any application here. I think I make a new video for this kind of different application, getting started modeling. For now, it is enough. As you have seen, the application, of course, runs on Windows 10 as well. It runs on a better UI stuff because I am here, have compiled the application using the most recent Wake Widgets libraries, and I got managed it at least to produce a source code package that you can install on your computer, which is automatically pulling the compiler and the need all required stuff to get this tool compiled and usable for you with them at least as possible of struggle compared to some other yeah, grab and collect kind of method of tools you need to get something to running. This is one of my goal to do this. Okay. I have opened it twice. Okay, I have opened it twice. Perfect. So, especially that's why I'm using this old stuff. is still because I'm in the porting progress. I make some progress, but I'm still not ready with it. Getting a new deployment environment, development environment running as fast as possible, and getting a build server running on Windows 10 later on. And as long as I am in the porting progress with with these tools, I probably have to use these old Windows. And yeah, that's for now. Bye.